Hey guys, and welcome to my tutorial, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make this granny square with the little heart in the middle. This is part 2 to the video. In the last video I showed you how to make this granny square with the little circle in the middle. I'm really into granny squares. I love making them. I think they're really cute. I love the pattern, but sometimes the granny square, for me and a lot of people I know, can get boring because it's just the same pattern over and over again. So recently I've been doing a lot with granny squares. I showed you how to do the original granny square a while back. I showed you how to do this granny square with the heart in the middle for Valentine's Day. And so I really wanted to get into other patterns and other things that you could do with the granny squares to make it a little bit more interesting so that you don't get bored with it. So last video, like I said, I showed you how to make this granny square with the circle in the middle, and in this video for Valentine's Day I'm going to show you how to make the granny square with this little heart in it. Now this pattern is not mine. It comes from shop.myblueprint.com. Both of these patterns do, actually. I found these patterns while I was searching around online for different granny squares and different ways to do them, and I came across this website that had 4 or 5 different ways that you can do granny squares, and I didn't see any videos for them, so I wanted to show you guys and do videos of them myself. So these patterns are not mine. I'll be linking the website that they come from down below, and I really recommend you guys check them out if you like these 2 patterns, because this is only 2 of the patterns they have on there, and she has a lot more with granny squares. So if you like granny squares, go ahead and go check her out. I believe the website is run by her, but honestly I don't know it. I didn't really check around to look anywhere, so don't quote me on that one. But she has, or they have, patterns on this one where you can do granny squares from 1 circle, 2 circle, and 3 circles. I only did the 2 because I thought the 2 looked nice. And they have this one and a couple other really good ones. So if you like these patterns, definitely go check them out. I personally will not be posting these patterns on my blog because they're already posted on another website, and I would prefer to post original content and my own stuff on my blog, but I did still want to do a video tutorial of these to make you guys aware of the website, and also because I didn't see one. There may be a video tutorial of this, but I didn't see one myself, so I thought it might be a good idea to show you guys. So for the materials of this, you can do any colors that you want. It doesn't really matter. You don't have to switch like I did. I just wanted to accentuate the heart in the middle, so I decided to switch after 1 row. You can do anything that you want with this, any colors. I just chose red and white because of Valentine's Day, and those are the colors that I'll be using today as well. And these colors come from my favorite Red Heart collection. As always, I always recommend using Red Heart Super Saver yarn. It's my favorite yarn ever. It's the only one I use, actually. You'll also, of course, need a pair of scissors to cut your end, and obviously a crochet hook. You can use any size crochet hook for this. It doesn't really matter. I personally am using my favorite size G crochet hook, as always. You may also want a needle for darning in your ends. I personally never really use needle for my ends. I just crochet them in, but some people prefer to have a needle to do that. So let's get started with the pattern. I'm going to take my red yarn here, and I'm pretty much going to use the same colors that I did the first time. So I'm going to make a loop for my hook, as always, and I'm going to start with a chain 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're going to work all of the following stitches into the fourth chain from the hook. So we're going to do all of these stitches. Everything for the heart is going to be in this first chain that we did here. So in the last video with the circle, I told you that there was an alternate way that you could do this beginning. I don't know if it would work for this one, but it might. You could try doing the magic circle if you know how to do that. So I'll show you how to do it really quickly. If you don't know how to do it and you don't prefer you want to work with a bigger hole to insert all of your stitches in, because I mean, of course, the chain is very, very tiny. So if you don't know how to do a magic circle, you take very quickly, you take the yarn here in your fingers, you wrap it around the back here, you come back to the back, make a little X in the back, and then wrap the yarn back around here, hold that down with your pinky, then you're going to go under this one, over this one, pull it through, go back under this one, and pull it through. So this gives you a bigger loop to work with, so that you can now do your chain 4, and you can work a bunch of stitches into this bigger loop instead of this tiny chain right here. If you don't know how to do a magic circle and you would like a more in-depth look, I will link my Crochet Beginner Basics email course down below. It's something I just launched. It will teach you all the things that you need to learn about crochet, including a magic circle. All the videos that you need to do all of these chains, all of these stitches that I'll be doing here today. It's really fun. I'm really excited about it. Go sign up if you want to learn how to crochet, and I'll even teach you how to do a magic circle in one of the days. And if you like granny squares, small promo, if you like granny squares, I'm thinking about starting a granny square crochet course right after the first people go through this new course. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and sign up, because my email list will be the very first people to be entered into the course before I even finish creating it, and they will get emailed exactly when the first email is set up to send out. So if you like granny squares, go ahead and sign up for that. Anyway, so we have a chain 4 here. Back to the actual stitches. Chain 4. Now we're going to do 3 trebles. So in this very first stitch here, 1, 2, 3 trebles, and then we're going to work in the same thing, 3 double crochet, which I also teach in my course. 1, 2, and 3. And as you can see, we're kind of getting pretty much half of a heart. If I turn it around this way, half of a heart. And what we're going to be doing with this here, some people like to darn in their ends. As I said, I usually just crochet right over mine and keep going because I hate darning in ends, and I know a lot of people do as well. So what we're going to do is, as we're crocheting, just kind of crochet our end in with the stitches, and we won't see it. You won't have to darn it in. It'll be nice and easy, and you can keep moving on to the next step. So we just did our 3 double crochet. Now we have a chain 1 and a treble. Okay, now we're back to the 3 double crochet. So basically that chain 1 treble was the point of the heart, and now what we're going to do is mirror what we did on the other side and do 3 treble crochet. 1, 2, and 3. So in the pattern, that is the last step, and if you go to the website to get the actual picture, no disrespect to them, but I think it looks slightly wonky, and even here you can kind of see it looks slightly wonky because this is like perfectly finished in a perfect heart form, and this one they've left it just with that treble. So you can leave it like this because this is technically what the pattern calls for, but I think it just looks like a harsh little shape as opposed to the perfect little round shape because we started from the center. So what I've done to fix this, it doesn't change the pattern really of the heart much. It doesn't change the pattern that you're going to be doing later. All you have to do is insert into that hole one more time and do a slip stitch, and then we can do our chain 1 and finish off. So if you slip stitch back into that center, it brings the stitches back down, and now you have a perfect little heart instead of that little harsh line that we had. If you go, like I said, if you go to see the pictures, you'll see what I'm talking about, that if you're doing this heart, it looks slightly different because it's not so harsh. It's bringing the stitches back down to the center. So now what I'm going to do is weave in my end. So like I said, it's not changing the pattern at all. You still have the same amount of stitches. It just makes the heart look a little bit better, in my opinion. And there you have it. You have a little heart. This is also really cute just to have for Valentine's Day, to be honest with you. You don't even need to crochet it into a granny square if you want. I actually did a similar thing to this before. I showed you how to crochet a heart, and they look really similar, but this pattern's actually different. So if you want another version of this heart for Valentine's Day, go ahead and check out this video. Anyway, back to what we were doing. So that is it for our center. So now what we're going to be doing is crocheting these 4 little corners so that we can turn it into a square. And then you can make it as big or as small as you want and crochet it into anything that you want. So you don't have to switch colors here if you don't want to. I want to change my color to the white that I've used here. So what we're going to be doing is chaining it into we're going to be tying our yarn, if you've changed colors, tying our yarn into the top of the chain 4. So if you pull apart your stitches, you'll see where this chain 4 is. You may be even able to count 4. Mine actually, I think one of my stitches is hidden, so I actually have 3. But if you pull apart your stitches, you'll see the very top of your chain 4. Tie it on there, and then we're going to go back into that stitch there. Pull our yarn through, and we're ready to get going. We're going to be basically crocheting the first cluster that you normally would for a granny square, a corner. So chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and 2 double crochet. So if you've done a granny square before, you'll recognize this. We're just going to be doing it slightly different because we're crocheting it around a heart, but the stitches are the exact same from here on out. So we have 1 and 2, and then we're going to do a chain 3. I'm not entirely sure. I usually do a chain 2. I don't know if you could do a chain 2 in between your stitches, but I'm just going to follow the pattern here and do a chain 3 just in case it would mess something up. So, and then 3 double crochet. You might need more room in between corners or something, I don't know, to make it look right. I didn't test it out with a chain 2 in between our stitches. Like I said, that's normally what I do, though. I think chain 3 makes the hole a little bit too big. But, I mean, that's pretty alright, right? So this is our first corner made. Now what we're going to do is chain 3 and skip the next 5 stitches. So we're going to be going somewhere around here. Might actually be that stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hey, look at that, that's right. And make sure that when you're doing this, one of the stitches isn't hiding underneath your cluster, because in the last video that I did, I almost messed up because one of my stitches was hiding underneath here. So I'm going to pull it back, make sure you've gotten that first stitch, and then count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to go into this one here with a double crochet. And this is going to be our second corner made. 1, 2, chain 3, and 3 more double crochet back in the same stitch. 1, 2, and 3. Now, we're going to repeat that twice more. So as you can see, we started our little square. So chain 3, and go 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now we've made it to the other side of the heart. Make sure, don't want to mess up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So back to our pattern of the usual granny square. So like I said, once you get it, you just know you have to go 5 stitches away. You can crochet just as a normal granny square. It's basically just figuring out where to put the 4 corners and how to make the heart. And then it's simple. It's 2, 3, there we go. Had to go off camera and fix a mistake that I had made. Okay, now 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're kind of gonna go in that stitch there. It's gonna look a little weird at first. You may have to fix your stitches a little bit so that you make sure the corners are pretty much evenly spaced. Alright, and there we go. So now all we do is chain 3 and slip stitch in between that chain 4 and that first stitch. There we go. Of course, I think we could probably have gotten away with the chain 2 on the bottom here and the top here because it looks like it's a little bit too close together there. But there you have it. There is how to make a granny square heart. So from here, you can change colors again, you can keep going with it, you can make it as big or as small as you want it to be. You know, maybe you could do a couple of these and stitch them together in blankets. You can even make them the same size as the one I did here, and you can have, you know, 2 granny square blankets and then stitch them together. Who knows? Anything. It's up to you. So that is how you crochet a granny square with the heart in the middle. Like I said, if you want the written pattern, I'm not posting it on my blog because somebody already has it posted on their blog. I will be linking that both below both videos. If you'd like to sign up for my Beginner Crochet Basics course, I'll link that below as well. I highly recommend it. I had a lot of fun making it, and I really hope everybody that's going through it has enjoyed it. If you wanted to check out my last video, it's going to be this one right here. So this is part 2 to the video. This right here is part 1. If this gets a lot of views and a lot of people like it, I may do more videos where I can find different centers for granny squares and different ways that I can do granny squares because I know granny squares are really popular. Check out my blog for other things I've done. So check out my YouTube for any other crochet hearts and Valentine's Day things that I've done. I've gotten a couple more up under my sleeve, so if you are interested in that, subscribe to me on YouTube, like, comment, all of that. Let me know what you thought, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.